Street, and then he lives in that little hotel. Every time I drive past,
and I love that one of his girls that he's given a job. Like she's got the hot body, but she's kind of a
she's spectacular.
She is.
She is I'm going to make my voice go even deeper than Priscilla's. So spectacular.
So spectacular. It is our voices.
No.
Have you ever done anything voiceovers?
No, never. But I'm going to tell you another story.
Okay,
we were talking about Transparent before. Right?
No,
we didn't. You mentioned it briefly.
No,
But that's a very...
I have to come back to Somebody Marry Me.
I play the boyfriend of a trans woman on the show, Jeffrey Tambor's best friend.
Yes, I saw it.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting character because it's a character...
How was your girlfriend? I saw it on your reel.
Alexandra Billings.
Oh.
She is a trans woman.
She is a trans.
Everybody except Jeffrey on the show is trans.
Is he good or what?
He's really good.
He was on Three's Company.
Oh,
and it was on my second or third episode.
Wow.
He played a doctor that was that John and Joyce thought was a real nut, but he really wasn't crazy. But anyway, it is when you do ask them, because we've been asked that question all the time, what's our favorite show? It's not mine, but it's one of John and Joyce's favorite shows.
Right.
He's so gifted. But anyway,
he is. He is.
And he worked with Milton. He used to teach with
him. For a long time. Yeah. But anyway, Alexandra Billings, who I play her boyfriend on Transparent, is going to be on Goliath. I just saw that she signed to do 6 episodes of Goliath, so that's going to be great.
Now, are you still on Transparent?
I did 2 episodes that will air. They only do 10 a season, and I have some pretty interesting stuff coming up in the next season.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah, with Alexandra and Jeffrey's in it. I had fun with Jeffrey. And when he won the Golden Globe, the scene they showed for which he won was my scene. It's just the 2 of us.
Well, you know what? As I noticed that about your work is that you don't push. Even as little Carmine, I laughed out loud last night when I was going over your reel because I wasn't expecting it. And you're explaining something, and you explain Versailles. I guess it was Versailles. I wasn't expecting it because there were other. Okay, as an actor in that speech, there was other words that you could have done that with. And the actor, it's very difficult to just pick the one and stay with the one because actors have a tendency to do, I'm going to do them all, and then it isn't funny anymore.
Well, the writers were really good. I'll tell you a story how that came about because I had read for a 1-episode part on The Sopranos. They asked me to put myself on tape because I was in New York, and in those days, like so long ago. But you had to put yourself on tape and had to send it in overnight on VHS, and so I only had to borrow a friend's camera, which was the compact VHS, and then I had to transfer it to the VHS, and then I had to get it into the FedEx by 4:30 because they wanted it the next morning. So I did one for a 1-episode part of the guy that does the intervention with Christopher, and I didn't get the part, and I thought, oh, well. But they said, no, they liked you. They'll use you for something else. And I thought, yeah, sure, I've heard that. How many times have you heard that? So I literally did the gesture that you can't see now. Yeah, sure.
Whacking him off.
You're whacking it. Okay.
He's whacking it off.
So, but a week later, they said, David Chase wants you to put yourself on tape for this character of Little Carmine. So I read the breakdown, and it said, Little Carmine, anything but little, upwards of 350 pounds, sweating profusely with a twitching eye. And I thought, okay, David Kelly wants me to read for this part. I mean, David, I'm good with David's apparently. David Chase wants me to read, but I'm never going to get this part. I'm not this guy, So I thought, well, let me do something with it. So in the scene, I mispronounced Versailles as Versailles in my audition piece, and apparently they told me that when they were watching the thing, they got to that point, and David said, "That's the guy." And then my character ended up speaking in malaprops from that point on. Well, I had some great ones.
Well, they show you again whether you were talking about a painting, and it was. And to this day, I still really can't pronounce that right. Trompe-l'oeil.
Yeah,
Trompe-l'oeil.
but I said Trompe-l'oeil. And the
because
greatest.
It's an oil painting. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
And the next line is a throwaway. So it was done by a guy right over here in West Hempstead, which for some reason that episode was actually written by Michael Imperioli, who played Christopher, wrote that episode.
Wow.
Yeah, but I had some great lines. We're caught in a fucking stagmire instead of quagmire. Stagmire's a great word.
It's makes sense.
Yeah, there's something about him, as screwed up as it was, if you really follow his logic, he was, I
have that problem. I do that
So
all
Somebody
the time.
Marry Me.
Well, this is what
I
guess. That's how you were. You friends with John Asher before?
This is how I met John Asher.
Okay.
I was going to shoot an episode of In Plain Sight.
Yeah.
So, and it's in Albuquerque. So I get to the airport at LAX, and there's a guy sitting there that kind of looks like an actor. We end up talking. It turns out he's guesting on the show too. So we're on the plane, and there's an actress with us, Dahlia Salam, who also, but she was scared of flying, right? So she's sitting next to me, and John's sitting on the other side of the aisle. And now we're coming into Albuquerque. She has her eyes closed because she's so scared to fly, digging her nails into my hand. I just met her, but she's digging her hands, and all of a sudden the plane goes, woof. It drops like 15 feet, and I look over at John, and he's kind of white, and he looks back at me. A FedEx plane had flown right over us. He could see the pilot in the window. So John and I bonded because we almost died together. And then we spent that time shooting in Albuquerque, and he said, I direct too, and he said, I have an idea. I want to shoot a film all in one shot. No cuts. And I know you do. And then he came to see me in a play. He said, I know if I need a theater actor that can do this. Because that's what we do. So he wrote this film that takes place in real time, and it's 98 minutes. We shot it in. There's no cuts, 7 locations, 15 actors, including driving. I drive a truck, and the cameras, I'd get in the truck, and the camera and the whole sound crew would get in the truck with me, and then I'd drive in real traffic, no cuts, 98 minutes, and we only did it once. The movie is actually the one take that we actually went all the way through. And it's pretty funny. It's an amazing experience.
I guess the guy that would shoot it, so was he just on Steadicam the whole time?
Yeah, handheld the whole time.
Which is like, well, they're lighter than they used to be, but it's still really 98 minutes is not easy.
No, and the first 3 takes were blown by an actor. I'm not going to mention his name.
Fine.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I'll tell you later who it was. But 10 minutes in,
I think his name. You just have to look it up.
And his 10 minutes in, he says line. And I'm like, no, you can't say line.
You can't say line.
Okay, everybody back to, and to set up back to 1 is a big deal because you're setting up for a 98-minute film.
Was he a TV actor?
No, he's been a film actor.
Okay.
He's been around a long time. I'm giving it away because there's only one person in the movie besides me that's been around a long time.
It's not his fault, though. I mean,
we did it like 3 times, and the worst part of it was I knew at the end of the movie I had to come back and see him again for another scene. So through the whole movie, I'm thinking, is he going to? What if he does it at 96 minutes? But meanwhile, I'm still trying to act and drive and ad lib to fill time because there's a red light and we ran out of dialogue and I have to keep ad libbing to keep it.
That's what I want to know. So if you there were 8 locations, you said?
Yeah, 7 or 8. Yeah.
Okay. So you wouldn't have different cameras, maybe?
No, it's one camera.
Sticks outside. That's what I'm thinking. No cut.
Literally.
But at least maybe they're gonna.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Though?
No,
you're driving in the car, then you get out, and then
there's no wipes. Pick you up. Nope. New sound people would be waiting, but one camera. There's not one cut in the movie.
I see. I'm sorry. If you do have a different camera, that's
a cut.
You're right.
And we even made it so I never even walked behind the truck because sometimes people will try to hide a cut that way. They'll do a wipe.
Yes.
So we kept it where I was always on camera, so you can see that we would never sneak a fake cut.
So you would ad lib if you were early on something,
and they'd have
what other people.
And there's people on radio saying, and there was a police car stops me halfway there, so they'd have to be saying, Ray will be there in 15 seconds, have the police car ready to pull him over.
So you had a mic in your ear?
No, John would be in
all the big stars
that were behind me. No, I don't do that.
I know.
An earwig? No. No.
But I'm just saying, I mean, was it an earwig for them telling you?
No, the director, John was in the truck with me, and he'd be yelling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, golly. Okay.
Wow, did we cut?
Wow, will you come back?
Yeah.
I just want to say we have to go over a few things that I want him to talk about his charity, a few of his charities. But I just want to say this is what we've done today with Ray and myself. Thank you, Ray, because when I had in my mind how I wanted this show to be, and I still say to my friends or I say to people, it's just really a conversation. And the reason I do all this work is really just because I'm looking for you and I, like what else, who do we know together? Like Wendy Malick, we haven't talked about yet, but just the frame of mind. So it isn't like, gee, what's your favorite, whatever. But thank you so much because
my pleasure.
Because will you come back? Because you have so many. This is because guys, I mean, isn't this interesting? It's interesting for me because people have a perception of show business and how they get jobs and how they do and how this happens and it's not real. I mean, it's like it's not real. And what you showed is what we go through, what the reality of what we do, and the passion and the love. I mean, I was going to ask you about those people in Seattle that do all those plays. I was go, how do they eat?
They do it?
I mean, what's their rent? I mean, they can't have big.
No, they
can't make any money.
No, they all have roommates and but they're doing it for the
love for something. anyway. Did you want to talk about Wendy and the horse?
Well, yes.
Donald Trump, though, briefly.
What?
Do we have time for the Donald Trump story?
No, that's too long. Because I'd need a whole show for Donald Trump.
We got it just a little bit. Okay.
Okay, yeah, no, that goes back
You
to...
said
not
that you met him
fan.
a long time ago, though.
Yes, it was when with Emma at the Starlight Foundation. A Starlight Foundation.
Did he actually give money?
No,
I didn't think.
No, that's exactly he didn't. But he forced himself to sit at our table because he wanted to sit next to. He had them
Emma.
change his seat because he wanted to sit next to Emma. And I'm just going to make this really thing. So at one point there's an auction, and we're in New York, and the auction is to fly to California and have lunch with Emma Samms on the set of Dynasty. Now he and I are alone at the table right now. Now I'm on the set of Dynasty every day, making love to Emma Samms and having lunch with her every day. So he says, Ray, this will be funny. Let's bid against each other, and then I'll outbid you for the charity. It gets up to $5,000. He shuts the fuck up. Now it's up to me. I just started on the show. I'm making nothing. I had been starving. I'm barely paying. I'm paying off, debt and everything. And he stops at $5,000 to me to go to lunch at work. Oh, you think it's funny? So then, thank God, somebody raises their hand, going once, going twice. Somebody else. Michael Milken ended up. I don't know if you remember him. He ended up going to jail.
Went to jail, but he built a lot of buildings in Los Angeles.
Right, he's also apparently a nicer guy than Donald Trump because he actually gave money to the charity. So then Emma's walking back to the table and he says, Ray, I watched the show last night and you and Emma have some really hot love scenes. I said, yeah, we do, Don. He said, how about you and I change lives for a day? And I said, Don, you ain't got enough money.
Oh, good for you.
And that's the way it was left.
We still don't know how much money he has. We don't think it's very much.
No.
I just gotta say, did you see that billboard with Melania? And it said, Melania, blink twice if you're in trouble. I can't help it.
Did you see the latest picture?
Like Melania,
Did you see
that poor thing? What's going on?
There's a picture posted today from the White House of what's left of his cabinet, and you look at these guys. You've never seen a group of more miserable-looking people in this group photo of the entire cabinet, and he's sitting there, and they're all around him. It's pretty.
Well, I loved it on your Twitter feed. You had a picture of, is this like 1974? So you had 1974 with Goldwater in front.
Right, and who's next? Yeah,
it was good.
Who's going to be the profile in Courage now?
But we would like to just add, because we know we're running low on time. Your dear friend Wendy Malick got you involved in this charity.
Yes, it's not so much a charity as it's just a cause. There's a lot of people don't know that there are wild horses in this country, and they rounded up by the Bureau of Land Management, and then they're put into horrible conditions. And the American Mustang and the wild horses are really part of our heritage. Yeah. And now there's a move to there's a ban on the slaughter of these horses, and now they're trying to lift the ban so they could slaughter the horses or sell them for food or sell them to other countries. And these are beautiful, beautiful wild Mustangs, and the way they're rounded up with the helicopters and putting these disgusting pens. But there's and there's really other ways to manage. They're just trying to manage the herds, but the scientists have come up with ways with birth control to do it, but they don't want. And in the end, it would save them so much more money, but they're just not willing to do it. Right now, there's a symposium where they're getting together to educate the lawmakers, but they're not letting any of the scientists into this. They're only bringing the cattlemen and the people that want to slaughter, that are for just slaughtering the horses. They're not getting both sides of the issue.
Why does a cattleman want to slaughter the horses?
Well, because
they're eating the grass.
They want the land. Yes, they want the land to graze their cattle. Yes,
it's just some horses running around the
which is
hills.
our subs. Which we sub. I mean, there does need to be management, but there are ways to do it. There are ways to control.
Is there that many horses? I had no idea that was that. It was like
right now
that they have to
they're scheduling a roundup of 6,700 in Nevada alone. And if you watch the way they round these up, these horses are so magnificent, and they round them up and they separate the foals from the mothers, and they're done with the helicopters. And they're forced into these little dry pens, and then they're kept in horrible conditions, and you see they're skinny, and you see them break their legs because they're being trapped in these fences. They've never been anything but on the open range, and I've actually met some of these horses that have been rescued, and they're so beautiful, and they're part of our heritage. Our heritage was built with horses, and
our heritage, but then there are horses. I mean, they're animals. It's ridiculous.
And I could understand if there was if there was no other way, but there is another way.
Because what do they plan to do with them once they've herded them into these little tight corners?
Well, then they put them in these holding facilities that are horrendous.
But what do they?
They try to sell. Well, that's the thing. They're going to start slaughtering them, just because, as opposed to using science.